So hello everyone and welcome back to yet another YouTube video. So in keeping with the recent theme of muscle building, the recent theme of bulking, I'm going to bring you a video that is my 5 best tips when it comes to bulking and putting on the most amount of muscle in 2023. We all know at this stage how to lose fat. There's an abundance of fat loss information online from all the abundance of PTs who are currently going viral, but most PTs are built like bean bags with arms and legs. However, we all know that's not the case over here in Shea Fitness. So without further ado, here are my 5 best tips for bulking in 2023. So my first tip is to eat regular meals. And this might seem like the most generic, non-specific advice possible, but trust me, it's something that a lot of you are overlooking. Back when I was in Leaving Cert, I used to get up at 5, sometimes 6 a.m. to get to the gym before school. As a result of that, I would have a high calorie protein smoothie in the morning before I went to the gym, which looking back wasn't the best idea because I'd nearly always need to shit myself or get sick halfway through my first set of squats. But nonetheless, I would persevere and I'd come home at about 7:30, maybe 8 a.m. and have a big massive bowl of protein porridge. So by 9 a.m. and my first period of a double biology on Thursday morning, I would have 12, maybe 1500 calories down the hatch before most people had even rolled out of the sack. I would use my lunch breaks to my advantage, knowing that I had designated times in which to eat, like most of you do in school, college or work. So at 11 a.m. I would have a small sandwich, maybe a bit of fruit, 2 massive ham and cheese rolls at 12 or 1 o'clock or whenever the big break was. So by the time I was even getting home in the evening time to have my mother's dinner or to eat what my mom cooks, I would probably have more than most people's daily calorie allowance already consumed. And I put on most of my muscle in my first 2 or 3 4 years inside in the gym. And when I look back, it's no surprise because 2 things that I was super consistent with was my consistency each and every week inside in the gym and my consistency each and every day with the calories that I was consuming. You have to make it a priority. You have to be prepared. You have to have an idea of what you're going to be consuming each and every day. You have to make the time to make lunches and bring them with you, to have snacks on you at all times, and you need to make it a matter of priority to consume them regularly throughout the day. My second point is to make and take advantage of liquid calories. So things like milkshakes. So I'll never forget one Saturday afternoon coming across a YouTube video from Rick Piana, who was basically telling all of those people who complain of having a fast metabolism to just eat food. And he was dead right. And he gave a recipe within that video that was essentially just throwing a load of raw oats, full fat milk, peanut butter, honey, banana, and whatever other condiments that would conjure up a substantial amount of calories, putting it in a blender and throwing it back the hatch. From that day, I used to make that shake every single day, take it with me to the gym, and even though it tasted like complete and utter shit, I would make a point of sculling it after every single workout that I did. So yes, it wasn't the nicest tasting, especially when it went warm inside in the gym lockers, but it was a very handy 1000 to 1500 calories that I could consume straight after my workout. Alongside that, you should take advantage of things like olive oil, sauces, butters and spreads that you use in sandwiches. Very easy calories that, if used strategically enough at every single meal, can result in an extra couple of hundred to even 1,000 or greater than 1,000 extra calories by the end of the day. My third point is to take advantage of junk food. Now, a lot of people have this predisposition that they can't eat any junk food when they're on a bulk, whereas other people have the opposite problem where they eat entirely junk food when they're on a bulk. When it comes to putting on weight, it's the opposite mentality, of course, of trying to lose weight. Duh. But you are looking for the most high calorie, low satiety foods possible. And in general, that's going to be your Nutellas, your peanut butters, your sweets, your chocolate bars, shit that's packed with loads of carbs, fats and sugars that you could eat in abundance. That poses a big problem to a lot of people when they're on a fat loss phase. So don't be afraid to have a fucking Hershey's chocolate bar every now and then. Don't be afraid to have a fucking Nutella bagel every now and then. You can make your life as difficult as possible or as easy as possible when it comes to bulking. And yes, the majority of your foods should be from the whole food, nutrient-dense, high protein-based foods, but that doesn't mean that you can't use convenient sources of high calories to your advantage. Now, leading on to my fourth point is to don't do the dog in it. Other people have this perception that in order to put on the most amount of muscle, the more calories that you eat, the more muscle that you will build. And that is entirely untrue. Beyond a very slight surplus of calories, meaning an extra couple of calories above what your maintenance is, the higher the amount of calories you consume, the exponentially more amount of fat that you're going to gain, but without any additional muscle growth. So people who stuff their faces with takeaways every single day of the week are essentially justifying their own very unhealthy relationship with food in the name of dirty bulking. If anything, it is detrimentally impacting your gains inside in the gym, because if you start dirty bulking from the off, having 5,000-6,000 calories just for the fucking sake of it. In a very short period of time, you're going to be looking in the mirror, disgusted at yourself, you're going to be feeling like shit, and hence you're going to be back and forth between cutting and bulking all the time. The goal of a bulk is to have a slight surplus of calories that is allowing you to gain body weight at a slow and steady rate, that is allowing you to optimize your progress within the gym, but is keeping your body fat gain relatively in check so that you can prolong for as long as possible the period in which you are in a surplus of calories. For my first 2 entire years in the gym, I spent that in a slight surplus. And because I kept my gain of body fat as conservative as possible, I was able to bulk for as long as possible and put on so much more muscle compared to someone else who dirty bulked but found themselves wanting to cut after 3 months. Anywhere between 200 to 500 calories above your maintenance, with 500 being on the upper end of the spectrum, is more than enough for a surplus of calories to be in. And not only will this ensure that you're not putting on too much body fat too quickly and hence cutting your bulk too short, but it will also make it easier for you to get the amount of calories required for you to be in a surplus. Because instead of thinking that you need to eat 5,000 calories, you may only need to eat 3,200. And my fifth and final tip is to track your fucking calories. The amount of people who think that they can't possibly gain weight on 5,000 calories is laughable. For the vast majority of people consuming 5,000 calories, not only would you be gaining weight, but you'd be morbidly obese after 3 months. So if you're one of these people who thinks they've a super fast metabolism and that for the life of you, no matter how much you eat, you can't gain weight, I guarantee you if you track your calories, you'll soon find out. And yeah, sure, you might eat 5,000 calories on the odd day, but throughout the rest of the week, that gets compensated for. Very quickly, if you start tracking the meals you're consuming, you'll probably find that you skip a lot of meals throughout the course of a day. You don't really eat anything substantial, you're snacking on little bits here and there. And all of a sudden, it'll start to make a lot of sense why you're still built like a fucking cheese string. What gets measured gets improved, and your calorie consumption is one of those things. So that's it. Those are my 5 very quick, very convenient tips to enhance your bulking experience, to ensure that you're leaving 2023 built not quite like, but relatively close to a knockoff version of the Vanilla Gorilla. So if you enjoyed that video, if you took some value from it, you know the story, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I shall see you again in the next one. Take care.